Queenstown hasn't seen a new launch since Stirling Residences back in 2018, and now we have the first new launch after 7 years. This is Penrith. The question now is, does Penrith has what it takes to become the next success story? Welcome back to another episode of Project Analysis series where I deep dive into key details so you'll know exactly what to look out for and what really matters before you commit into the project. Penrith is the first ever GFA harmonized project in the Queenstown area. It is also 100% sheltered all the way to Queenstown MRT and just within a short walk of 4 minutes. There is also priority booking under Guaco Hong Leong projects. Existing owners or ex-owners of developer, if you're unsure of whether or not you're eligible, do reach out to me. I have actually listed my 5-step price mapping to guide you through your priority booking in my previous video, and I will leave the link below. By the way, if you are new here, beyond projects, I also create contents to help families and buyers make more informed and intentional property decisions. One example is my video on buying property for primary school registration. In fact, one of my highest viewership video is about why I ended up buying 2 units at Grand Dunman. If you'd like to book a show flat tour or have a personalized consultation, do scan the QR code and reach out to me. That's the end of the little commercial break. Let's dive right into Penrith. These are the artist's impression, and for Penrith, it is made up of 2 towers of 40 story. It is a north and south facing, so there is no west sun for any of the units here. This is more artist's impression, and I believe this is the facing towards the GCB if your unit is facing the north side. Today, I'll be covering 5 key things: location of Penrith, project details, a bonus section of the 4 main traits of profitable projects. After that, we'll dive into the layout analysis. Let's start with the location. Penrith is located along Margaret Drive next to Queenstown Primary School, and just within the vicinity alone, you are able to see Margaret Drive Hawker. We have supermarkets. Further down, there is ABC Brickwork Market at Food Centre, Alexandra Central, surrounded by plenty amenities, schools, hawker, and just up north you can see we are also very near to Dempsey Hill and the Orchard area. I have this picture over here to show you how you can actually walk from Penrith all the way to Queenstown MRT by following this trail over here. On the right side, we have Commonwealth Towers and Queen's Peak. No doubt these 2 projects are situated right next to the MRT. In fact, it is so near to the MRT that I believe you are able to hear the track sound as well. For Penrith, we are a distance away. I do not think that you are able to hear any track sounds, and at the same time, you have sheltered walkway all the way just within 5 minutes. This is a site plan of Penrith. There is an early childhood development centre that will be located within Penrith itself. For Penrith, we have 2 buildings over here, Block 70 and 72. One is facing north and one is facing the south. So for the north facing, it would be towards GCB and the Dempsey area. If you select a unit high enough, you may potentially have a beautiful unblocked view. This is a drone view of the view towards the north of Penrith. Like I've mentioned, you can see Tanglin Village, Dempsey cluster, GCB cluster at Redoubt Park, and also the heritage bungalows. One thing I really like about Penrith is that there is also a beautiful roof garden at the top floor. Even if you don't own a high floor unit, you can still enjoy the view as a resident or bring your guests up there. It's a thoughtful feature that adds a nice touch. And of course, the largest 4-bedroom unit is located in Block 70, facing the north, which is the highly desirable orientation. This map shows you the future development of the area surrounding Penrith. Penrith is right over here, so if you look nearby, there is a 2.1 plot ratio. 2.1 plot ratio can go up to maximum level of 24. If you want to have a fully unblocked, try to go higher than level 24. Alright, so let's look at the unit types and sizes. I pulled out this 67% for 3-bedder onwards. I think it's pretty clear that there is no 1-bedder here. The developer perhaps feels that in this locale, there is more demand for own stay and bigger units, which is why we are seeing this higher percentage for the bigger unit types. Next, this is the distribution mix from level 2 all the way to level 40. Just to take note, from the ground floor to level 2, it is already around 16 meters, which is roughly equivalent to level 5 in height. That means the highest floor here could go up to a level 45 equivalent. Moving on to this bonus segment, from my experience, there are 4 main characters that consistently show up in projects that perform well: land size, layout, reputable builder developer, and visibility. Let's start with layout. Does layout actually affect the price? We have 2 developments, Principal Garden versus the Crest, which are actually located side by side. If you have seen the Crest before, let me see if I can draw it for you. It looks something like that. from the outside, the facade looks magnificent and special, but if you zoom in, the unique facade actually translates into the odd edges within the internal layout. In comparison to Principal Garden 3-bedder, which is the development right next to the Crest, it has a more regular layout for its 3-bedder, 1216, 1238, difference of about just 22 square feet, while it even have a private lift, a very regular living area, very regular rooms where the common rooms can fit up to a queen size bed. So this is what I call ideal layout. It suits families, and there's no odd edges, there's no wastage of space. And let's see how these two developments perform. So for the Crest, it was purchased at 1,696 PSF and sold for 1,899, profit of 247. Whereas around the same time, Principal Garden actually sold for a profit of 730,000, which is about 3 times the profit of the Crest. Being just side by side and launching around the same time, around the same size, isn't this a very clear evidence of how layout actually affect the profitability? The next trait would be the land size. We have always heard people saying that go for a project with a bigger land size, mega development. So does land size really matter? Never a better time to address it here, because in Penrith, its land size is actually on the smaller side, which is 9,522 square meters. Just for context, Commonwealth Towers is at 12,000 square meters and Stirling at 21,000 square meters. To address your concern, let's find out, does land size alone affects the profitability of a project? In this case study, I have pulled out Cambridge Hills Residences and Clavon, both POP around the same time. For Cambridge Hill Residences, it is sitting on an expensive land size of 29,195 square meters, whereas Clavon sitting on a land size of 16,543 square meters. Even though Cambridge Hill Residences is sitting on a significantly bigger land size, the profitability compared to Clavon is lesser. And why is this so? This leads me to the last trait, visibility. Diving deep into where Cambridge Hills Residences is situated, it's situated along the South Buona Vista Road. Even though it's sitting on a larger land, it lacks visibility because it is situated along a smaller road and are relatively low-rise with 5-story buildings and cluster houses. Clavon, on the other hand, is situated along all the major roads, as you can see here, Clementi Avenue 1, Avenue 2, and also AYE. Right beside, we have Nanhua High School. Clavon itself is made up of 2 buildings up to level 40, making it almost impossible to miss. This visibility kept it the top of mind for buyers and ultimately translate into stronger profits. The takeaway here is, land size alone does not guarantee success. It's just one of the 4 main profit characters. As we'll see, visibility can often outweigh the sheer land size in driving returns. Bringing you back into Penrith, let's start with the layout analysis proper. Their smallest unit type is a 2-bedder, and this is their 2-bed 1-bath. Their 2-bed 1-bath at 1 glass is a very proper and regular layout. Maybe the walkway is slightly longer. You walk in, you do have space for dining, an L-shaped kitchen, Jack and Jill for your bath over here, which is linked to your master, and also another room over here that can fit up to a queen size. As we know, Penrith is a 40-story level tower, so if you're talking about price point, it is able to have a bigger spread coming from the lowest floor to the highest floor. The starting price, which is the lowest floor, level 2 onwards, should be around 2,550, and the mid floor, which is around level 20, should hit around 2,800 PSF, and the highest floor, which is around level 40, should be around 3,001 PSF. And I will be working around this range to do the calculation in my video. I will be doing a comparison with Penrith's 2-bed 1-bath at 614 square feet versus Stirling Residences 2-bed 1-bath at 624 square feet. Based on the latest transaction, and the highest transacted price for Stirling's 2-bed 1-bath is at 1.51 million. As you all know, Penrith is the first ever GFA harmonized project in the Queenstown area, meaning to say Stirling is not. I'm going to use this calculation to determine what is a safe entry price into Penrith's 2-bed 1-bath by using Stirling's transacted price. If Stirling is a pre-harmonized project, 2-bed 1-bath should be 580 square feet after you minus off the aircon ledges and the wastage of space. In a post-harmonized scenario, based on the transacted price of 1.51 million, it will translate to a PSF of 2006. Typically, an old versus a new project has a price gap of 10%. So of course, if you can enter in Penrith at 2006, which is the transacted price of Stirling Residences basing on a post-harmonized calculation, it is definitely a good value. If you are talking about a 10% more, PSF of 2,863 and the price of 1.757 million, I do think that it is still a safe buy because as mentioned, there is always a price gap between the new and the old. And if it is a 20% more at 1.915 million, then you will have to consider other factors like the facing. Is it an unblocked facing? Is it a high floor unit? Or is there any other factors that makes it worth this higher pricing? Moving on to the next layout, we have 2-bedroom premium, which is also one of the show flat unit type 2B, 678 square feet, a very decent size. This is a dumbbell unit. When you walk in here, you have an enclosable kitchen, which is a good thing. You have a proper dining over here. We found out that the highest transacted for Stirling Residences 2-bed 2-bath 678 square feet is at 1.788888 million, which translates to 2,638 PSF. Using the same harmonization calculation that I have done on the previous slide, calculating from pre to post harmonized, we will usually minus off around a 7% for the wastage of space as well as the aircon latch, which is no longer calculated in a post harmonized project. And this translates to a PSF of 2,839. As this is the highest transacted in Stirling Residences, do exercise caution if you want to use this as a guide. If you are unsure, do reach out. We do have a price matrix that we have done up, and we can have a deeper discussion that is tailored to unit types and level and budget that you are looking at. Moving on to the 3-bedder in Penrith. For the 3-bedder, there are 4 different layouts. For 3-bedder compact, we have 2 sizes at 786 and 850. Starting from 786, I do like this layout a lot as a compact because I feel that whatever that I am looking out for, it has it. When you walk in here, first thing, there is enclosed kitchen with window, meaning to say you have natural light and ventilation coming in, and this is actually a sliding door for you to close off if you are doing heavy cooking inside. It has a proper dining area that can sit up to a 6-seater, a decent sized living area. For all the bathroom, we can see a window, meaning to say same thing, natural ventilation and natural brightness. For all the common rooms, it is facing the same direction and there is no aircon latch outside. It's all RC latch. You would be expecting a full floor to ceiling window. And the common room, you can fit up to queen size, and for the master room up to a king size. And this all makes up to only 786. And for the 850, the difference that I am seeing is that it has a longer foyer over here. You do have privacy because when you enter into the house, you're actually facing this instead of the whole unit itself. You do have a kitchen with glass panel over here. This one is entirely enclosed, whereas this, you have a glass panel over here. Just to take note, for the whole of Penrith, you will not be seeing any home shelters, would be store instead. I think that is brilliant. Window, 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 natural ventilation. Awesome. And other than that, it's about the same. So between these two layouts, it really depends on what facing that you are going for. I'm pretty satisfied with this if I'm able to enter in at a very good quantum, which potentially you are able to. Based on my price estimation, if we are looking at the lower floor for 786, we are looking at a price point of barely crossing a 2 million mark. For 850, it is about 2.167 million, which in my opinion, to be able to get proper 3 compact with this kind of layout in an RCR area and a matured estate like Queenstown, sheltered walkway all the way to MRT, is definitely very, very attractive. And if you go higher to the mid-level and assuming that you can get an entry price of 2008 PSF, this would be the price point that we are looking at. Potentially with just less than 2.5 million, you are able to get a 3-bedder at a top floor at Penrith. Moving on to the 3-bedroom premium, there are 2 layouts, 3C and 3D, and this 3D is actually the show flat unit as well. One is at 936 and the other one is at 1066. What is the difference between compact and premium? Usually the difference would be a home shelter or store. You will have a yard area as well as an additional WC. So what we are having here for this 3-bedroom premium, we have glass panel, proper dining area, a storeroom that is connected to part of the kitchen, yard over here as well as a WC. Apart from that, well done to the developer because all the 3-bedder, be it compact or premium, you have windows in all the bathroom as well as the kitchen. The difference between 3C and 3D is wider living area, a L-shaped cabinet for the master bedroom, as well as a more spacious kitchen. It's actually pretty rare to see a walk-in wardrobe in a 3-bedroom unit. The developer is actually trying to showcase here that even though you can have a 3-bedroom budget, but you are still able to enjoy the luxury of having a walk-in wardrobe, a more spacious living, which translates to upgraded having more choices. So same thing if I were to base on my price assumption metrics, if you were to look at a low floor unit for the 3-bedder at 2550 PSF, the 936 will be starting from around 2.386 and the 1066 is around 2.7 million. Previously, I actually talked about the traits of what makes project profitable, and layout is one of the important traits. These are the layout that you have to be careful of if you are looking around the Queenstown area. For this Commonwealth Towers 3-bedroom with yard layout, I'm not sure if this was done purposefully. Is there an intention behind it or it was an error? If you realize, right, at one glance, it looks like a very proper 3-bedder. But one thing that I've noticed is that there is actually no entrance into the bathroom from the common area. For your guests or your friends coming to visit your house, for them to use a washroom, they have to either use the WC or they have to walk through either bedroom 3 or bedroom 2 to access into this bathroom. I don't particularly like this. It can become something to nitpick on for sure. And for Queen's 3-bedder, Queen's is well known for its curvature on the balcony area, which looks nice as a facade. But if you were to utilize it, you'll realize that it is actually a waste of space, and it poses a problem for people who want to build a zip track, because as we know, zip track is straight, right? And if you were to build a zip track, it will actually waste a lot of space over here. You might think that 947 for a private lift is actually a very good size. It gives you a lot of premium. If you were to drill in further, you will realize that other than the master bedroom that can fit a bigger size bed, both the common room can only fit a single bed, which is why with the same size, they are able to fit in a private lift with quite a wide living. I find that this foyer is a little bit wasted, as well as the balcony. It's very important for you to enter into a project and be aware of what your competitors are having. Looking at the results between Commonwealth Towers, Queen's and Stirling Residences surpassed all of them. One of their top performing 3-bedder layout is actually their 3-bedder premium at a size of 1055 square feet. As we know, Stirling Residences is pre-harmonized project. If you were to do this calculation as a post-harmonized, it will be 7% lesser approximately, which is about 981 square feet. Comparing 936 and 981 square feet with a smaller balcony, the livable space, am I right to say that it's going to be about the same? When you put these two layouts side by side, you would realize that there's actually not much difference at all. All bathroom with windows, kitchen with windows, the layout, except for a little bit of a foyer difference over here, is exactly the same. The developer came up with a layout that is similar to this. It is a recipe for another successful product down the road. Now, looking at the data, for Stirling Residences 1055, the highest transacted for this unit type has already crossed 2.7 million. If you are able to get a low floor and enter it at a really good price, you are able to get it at below 2.4 million. A mid-floor, it will translate to about 2.6 million, which is still lower than the highest transacted done in Stirling Residences to date. And if you were to get a high-floor unit, potentially you can get it at below 3 million. There is a gap of 10% between a new and old. So if Stirling has already transacted at this price and we add on a 10%, about 2.99 million, I definitely think that this is an opportunity not to be missed. Now, comparing this top performing same layout at Stirling Residences to the premium layout in Penrith, we can see that potentially it will have a wider living space, a wider dining area compared to Stirling. And of course, this extremely luxurious walk-in wardrobe in the master. Same thing here, I have done an estimation on the price. If you are able to get a low entry, you may potentially get it at 2.7 million for this extremely gorgeous layout. And the mid-floor, less than 3 million, highest floor at maybe about 3.3. Now let's move on to the last unit type, the 4-bedder. So for 4-bedder, there are two types. One is a 4-bedder 4A and the other one is the show flat unit 4-bedder premium. Let's take a look. For 4-bedder, the main difference that I can see comparing to the 4-bedroom premium would be the frontage of the living. For 4 Premium, we can see that the frontage is a landscape layout where you can have a dining over here, your living over here, and this 4-bedder 4A would be living and dining in this portrait layout. So that to me is actually the biggest difference between the 4-bedroom and a 4-bedroom premium. There's no home shelter in the whole of Penrith, which is great because many a times people may not appreciate the use of a home shelter, and a storeroom is actually good enough. They do have window as well. The WC for 4A has a window, but for the WC at 4 Premium there is no window, but I don't think there is any form of deal breaker. The kitchen for Premium is slightly different. You can see this whole area is your kitchen with a really huge glass panel. The master room both has a walk-in wardrobe, very spacious master. All the common rooms you are able to fit up to queen size bed. For the 4-bedroom premium, of course, it has the best facing, which is towards the north and towards the GCB area. One key thing that I would like to highlight is that in Penrith, the difference between a 4-bedroom and its 4-bedroom premium is just 108 square feet. By paying less than 300k more, you are able to upsize from a 4-bedder to a 4-bedroom premium with a really large landscape frontage and a really nice kitchen over here. And you can see the space in the living. It makes a huge difference if you were to sell it in the resale market next time. Because firstly, we do understand that there is limited supply for bigger units in the market. And for bigger units, it is largely for own stay. For own stay, they do value comfort and the luxurious of space. If I have the budget to come in, I will definitely go for a 4-bedroom premium layout. If you were to look at others' development, for them to upgrade for a 4-bedroom to a 4-bedroom premium, the size jump is usually very huge. For example, Grand Dunman, there are also 2 types of 4-bedder, 1292 as well as 1432. The difference between these two is 140 square feet. Another example, in Stirling Residences, you can see that for their 4-bedder to their 4-bedroom premium, the difference is a massive 215 square feet. So how much does it take for you to upsize? Definitely a lot more compared to 108 square feet. There is a reason why condo prices in Queenstown area like Stirling Residences, Commonwealth Towers have been holding steady. One truth is, it is surrounded by $1 million HDB. 5-room HDB flat in Margaret Drive has sold for a record of 1.73 million. This is one of the highest resale 5-bedroom in the whole of Singapore. Sky Terrace at Dawson, which is very near to where Penrith is, has just sold its 5-room for 1.658 million. Within just 1 year alone, there are 159 transactions of HDB that has exceeded 1 million in Queenstown alone. If you're one of these HDB owners sitting on huge profits looking to sell, what is the kind of affordability that you will have to upgrade? Let's break it down. Back in 2009, when Sky Terrace at Dawson first launched as a BTO project, a 5-room flats were going for around 532,000 and 4 rooms just around merely 400,000. Assuming a 4-room selling price at 1.15 million, an estimated outstanding loan of 280,000, the estimated proceeds is actually 870,000. How do I get the estimated outstanding loan? I will just do a quick calculation over here. They got the unit at 400k back in 2009, and if they were to take a loan of 75%, actually back in 2009 you can take even higher than that, but let's say if they are taking HDB loan, they have to use more CPF, the loan amount will be lesser. So I'm going to take a 75% just as an example. So 75% of 400,000 is 300,000, and over the course of 5 years MOP, they would have paid down some principal as well. So I'm going to put the estimated outstanding loan amount as 280. A 4-room HDB means there are 3 rooms inside the flat, right? So bring it back into Penrith, assuming that this 4-room BTO owners sold their flat and want to upgrade into a 3-bedder condo into Penrith, can look at 786-850, which is the 3-bedder compact, or 936 and 1066, which is the premium. Assuming the buyers who purchased a 3-bedder in Penrith now wants to exit with a 300k profit, for a 786, if they manage to enter in at a PSF of 2007, they would have gotten it at 2.122 million. 2.122 million with a 300k profit makes the selling price to be 2.422 million. For these upgraders to come into a resale market to buy a 3-bedroom at 2.422 million, Their down payment and stamp duty makes up of around 696,000. Basing on the estimated profits that they are getting back at 870, they do not need to top up any additional cash at all. Similarly, if they were to look at 850, buyers enter in at this price with a 300k profit, down payment and stamp duty for upgraders is 722,000, they still don't have to top up. Same thing for 936, which is the similar layout to 1055 at Stirling's 3-bedder, one of their top seller. And now, if you look at a 3-bedder premium, the one with the walk-in wardrobe at 1066, assuming the first batch of buyers managed to get Penrith at 2007 PSF, they will get it at 2.77 million. At a 300k profit, it will make the resale price at 3 million. Can this batch of upgraders afford it? No, but they only have to top up 21,000 in terms of cash and CPF to be able to afford the down payment. Do note that the figures and breakdowns shared in this video are based on my own calculation and should not be taken as a financial advice. Please reach out if you'd like to have a tailored consultation. That wraps up my analysis at Penrith. I hope this breakdown gives you some clarity on what to look out for and how to make a smarter move in today's market. If you find this useful, please subscribe here on my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram for more insights and updates. If you'd like to stay ahead with the property updates, insights, and even get notified when Bounce Up unit pops up, scan my second QR code to join my Telegram channel. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!